مشعب أن يبر وعشت كم حققت للشعب ليكن يومك للشعب ودادا ليكن حبك للأرض مداد قلم أنت فكم عبرت عنها وبنيت المجد أطوادا شداد أنت يا ملهم شعب أن يبر عشت كم حققت للشعب مراد أنت يا ملهم شعب أن يبر عشت كم حققت للشعب مراد
Okay, assalamu alaikum everyone. Thank you for joining us for another Eliyas Explains with iAcademy. It is again myself, Ihsan, and I am a teacher at iAcademy, and I'm joined by Anila.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope you're all well.
Thank you. How are you, Anila?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you, Ihsan?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. We are coming to you with another Eliyas Explains. Like I said, we are iAcademy. We run weekly classes for children between 9 to 7 years old. We run an iSyllabus for schools curriculum for children 9 to 17. We also offer IGCSE and Islamic Studies for our older students. And we cover lots of topics in our curriculum. Me and Anila, I've been teaching now for 3 years at iAcademy. How long have you been teaching, Anila?
So I just finished my first year, so going into my second year of teaching.
Okay, and how did you find your first year?
Oh, great. Loved every minute of it. So I'm ready to go now for September coming. Yeah.
Excellent. So we cover lots of topics within the themes of Islam, Imaan, and Ihsan. And we also do topics related to social issues linked around what we are going through day to day. We cover lessons on how to control anger, racism, justice, friendships, things to do in the community. And we are currently enrolling students for the new academic year. Our details are on the screen, so you can see that there is an email, there is a telephone number, and in the comments you'll be able to see a link that will you'll be able to register your interest. So if you are new and you're not part of iAcademy and you're looking to get involved, we want to learn more about Islam, you enjoy this Eliyas Explains, then you can get a parent to contact one of the details on screen. And we've also hopefully got some existing students. So Anila, do you want to give a shout out to any existing students or maybe your classes?
Yeah, to all my, I really do hope that there's some of my old students that are here watching, and inshallah, I'm pretty sure I'll be teaching quite a few of them now, going on to the next workbook. So assalamu alaikum everyone, hope you're all well. And you're all looking forward to starting at the end of September, inshallah.
Yeah, so if you are an existing student and you recognise either myself or Anila, please give us a comment in the on the YouTube video. You can maybe tell us who you had last year as a teacher, which workbook you did, and hopefully we'll be able to give you a shout out. I can already see some comments coming in from Anisa, assalamu alaikum, from Mahmoud, from Adan. So welcome everybody. So today's Eliyas Explains, it's called Eliyas Explains What's Going On in the UK. So you may have seen that there has been some riots and some things happening in the UK. You might have seen it on the TV, on the news, on the radio. So we are going to hopefully explain a little bit more about the situation that has been happening in the UK, hopefully bring you some ease and some comfort with everything that's going on. So we know you may have lots of questions over the last weeks around the riots, Islamophobia and racism. We hope that we can address them today. Okay, so just in another minute, we will get started on our story for today. Anila, are you ready?
I'm ready, yep.
Yeah. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll get started on the story. Hopefully you enjoy it, get yourself comfortable, get yourself relaxed, and hopefully you will learn a bit more about what's going on. Okay, so let me just share this video with you. So yes, Eliyas explains what's going on in the UK. Another story by the author Zainab Mia. So shout out to Zainab Mia. We have done 2 previous stories by Zainab Mia, which were, now hopefully you might have seen this as well. We did Eliyas Explains what's going on in Palestine, which is still a very relevant issue. And we did Eliyas Explains why does Allah let bad things happen, which are still available on the YouTube channel, I think. So if you are interested in listening to those, you can go back and listen to either of them on YouTube. Okay. Right, let's get started, Anila, yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Rahim. Eliyas explains what's going on in the UK. It was Wednesday, the 7th of August, 2024, and I was not happy. But Mum, you said we could go to the trampoline park today. Why aren't you keeping your promise? I demanded, crossing my arms over my body really tightly to show how unfair it was. Only hours later, I understood that Mum wasn't breaking her promise. She was keeping another one. A silent promise I think every mum makes to herself when she has a baby. A promise to always protect him or her. I'm not going to lie. My parents always keep their promises to us. That's why my sister Asia and I could not believe they were cancelling our plans to be human bouncy balls for 60 minutes straight with our best friends. You even paid for it already, so you're wasting your money. You're always telling us not to waste money. Asia whined. She was in her protest position, laying down dramatically in the middle of the room on the carpet. Mum just looked sad. She sighed the longest sigh I've ever heard and pulled her lips in until they disappeared. Just then, Dad came down the stairs and joined us in the living room. He was all serious as he read the room. There are only a few times in my life that I've seen that look on Dad. It made me gulp. Are we in trouble? I asked. Dad's expression softened straight away, and he came over and sat next to me with his hand on my knee. No, of course not. Nobody's in trouble, he said.
Asia sat up and we both stared at my parents, waiting for an explanation. We've decided to stay indoors and not go outside at all today. Not to the trampoline park, not anywhere, Dad continued. Why? We asked. Yeah, why? My little brother Yusuf mimicked, even though he doesn't like the trampoline park because he's not allowed on with the big kids. Dad switched back to serious and said, well, the truth is, it's not safe out there for us today. There are people coming into town to riot, people who are anti-Muslim, who don't like Asian or Black people and don't want immigrants or refugees coming to this country. You mean racists? I asked. Yes, Dad answered simply. They're coming to do what? Asia asked. Riot, Mum repeated. Cause chaos, break things, be violent and attack buildings. Oh, I gasped. So it's true what Yahya told me on Discord. I thought he was just scaring us for fun. Like the time he said the flying ants have mutated because of the acid rain and they're going to be the size of tennis balls. He said they attacked a mosque building. The ants? Asia asked, shocked. No, the race is silly, I explained. Dad nodded. They did attack a mosque in Southport. The lovely people in the community, including non-Muslims, helped to rebuild it. But sadly, they have threatened to attack other mosques. Why doesn't the police stop them? Asia trembled, making her way to Mum on the sofa to be held by her.
They do try, but these mobs have even attacked police officers and police vans, going so far as setting fire to them. The riot police are doing what they can, Dad replied. But it's safest for us to stay indoors today While the far-right mobs are out, Mum added. My little sister's bottom lip trembled and her eyes filled with tears as she held on to Mum and asked, are they going to attack our masjid as well? No, sweetie, no, Mum soothed, stroking her hair. And there is lots more security at our masjids now, including the police. But that didn't make me feel any better. Why are they doing this? I pleaded. Nothing was making sense to me. I mean, I know racism exists, but how could people hate other people so much that they'd hurt them, and for no reason? There are all kinds of people living in London and other places I've been to, and I thought that was normal and everyone was happy. I was finding it really hard to get my brain wrapped around it. Well, darling, sadly people haven't started thinking like this overnight. For years and years, our newspapers and TV and our politicians have painted a picture of Muslims and immigrants, people who came to the UK from another country, as the bad guys. It's the headlines and the way politicians talk about us, Dad explained, pausing for a second to show us something on his phone. Look at these headlines in the papers. Asia and I sandwiched Dad on the sofa and craned our necks to look at some of the headlines.
So as we can see, boys and girls, here are some of the headlines. Muslim plot to kill the Pope is one headline, and that's going against the Muslims, isn't it? Christianity under attack. Muslim schools ban our culture, so they're purposely making Muslims look bad in the schools. 1 million more migrants are on their way. Millions are eating halal food without knowing it, as if it's a bad thing, boys and girls, which it isn't. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. For a few whiplashed, brain malfunctioning seconds, I was scared of Muslims. Then I remembered I was the one, and so were my family, and how much my parents keep teaching us about being good people and always following the rules. I mean, my mum always makes us buy one bottomless drink at Nando's each, even though Asia and I could easily share one glass and fill it up as many times as we want. And guess what? Nobody would even know. I started laughing hysterically at what my brain just did. The kind of laugh that is actually a cry, like the Joker from Batman. Mum and Dad looked at me with concerned faces. Eliyas, Asia prodded, as if she was checking it was really me.
I shook my head to snap myself out of it. Sorry, I just can't believe how easy it is to make people scared of others, I shivered. Dad agreed and told us that just like that, over time, they've whipped up hatred and made many people believe Muslims and immigrants are the reason there is crime and the reason why people are poor. That's a lie, Asia blurted. Yes, said Dad, placing his hand on her back. You know that, I know that, but many people don't. They begin to believe what they've been told time after time after time because they don't know any better. They start to fear us. And especially when those people have problems, like not being able to pay bills or put food on the table, they want to believe it because it gives them someone to blame. And they think they can solve their problems by getting rid of people they think are the problem. It's true that many people in the UK are living in very tough conditions, and I feel for them. But obviously, it's all a lie that migrants are to blame. Many migrants are suffering too. In fact, this whole thing erupted because of a huge lie after a horrible crime where 3 little girls were murdered in Southport. People, including politicians and journalists, started spreading a lie about who did it. They said it was a Muslim illegal immigrant, and so the far-right mobs got worked up, started a riot, and attacked a mosque. And these riots have been happening all over the country since. My heart ached, like it had just been used as a punching bag by someone with very fast fists. Asia was holding onto Dad's arm, looking more scared than hurt. Everyone was dead quiet, lost in thought, staring down at our feet.
Just then, we heard an unusual sound and all looked up. Yusuf was standing in the middle of the room, which is Asia's protest spot, and pouring out a pot of bubbles slowly onto the carpet, looking into our faces with pure, delicious delight. Yusuf, no! Mum jumped up with a bit of a delayed reaction. She was too late. My little brother does things like that when he feels all the attention is on something or someone else. Mum and Dad scrambled about looking for a way to absorb the water. Asia stayed glued to her spot with her arms wrapped around her body, and my brain worked in overdrive, still chewing on everything Mum and Dad had just told us. I paced the dry part of the room. So, everyone who's white is racist because of the newspapers? I asked, thinking about my friend Alfie at school and our neighbour Hazel. And now they've been stirred up like zombies rising from graves, and we can't even go out because we'll be attacked.
What? No, Dad responded distractedly while pushing down on the bubble puddle with a towel. Mum took me by the hand and sat me back down on the sofa, and Dad joined us again too. She told us what's happening is horrible and unthinkable, but the people who are behaving that way are a small percentage. There have been thousands more white people and people from all backgrounds who came out onto the streets to protect mosques and to protest against racism. She pulled out her phone and showed me a video of a white man with tattoos on his neck saying he would protect anyone being harassed by a racist. She showed us videos of thousands of people in the streets holding anti-racist plaques. That made me feel better. But there's still people that hate us, aren't there? Asia insisted. Every time I looked at the fear in my little sister's eyes, as annoying as she was sometimes, I felt really angry. Dad looked like he was thinking about how he should answer the question. Finally, he said, "Those people won't be able to hurt you because you're going to ask the one with all power and might to be your protector. And then I'm here with you. So is your mum." "And me," I said, puffing out my chest. Asia smiled happily. "Eliyas, go and get your angel books," Mum said. When I grabbed it for her, she turned to the pages at the end to remind us of a powerful dua to say for protection.
So, boys and girls, when you step out of your door to go anywhere, just make sure that you say this dua. So we should all try to learn it. Bismillahi tawakkaltu ala Allahi la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. The two angels that protect you, they respond to you. So when you say the Bismillah in the name of Allah, part of the dua, they then say in the name of Allah, you've been guided. And then when you say Tawakkaltu ala Allah, which means I put my full trust in Allah, the angels then say, you've been defended against anyone that's going to try to harm you today. And then the next part, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, which means there is no part or might except that belongs to Allah. They say, and you've been protected from all harm of the day. And the shayateen that come to mess with you while you're out and about to get started, all hopeless, as their plans completely flop, they ask each other, what can we do with someone who has said this dua and guided and is now defended and being protected? So yeah, take that, shaitan. You can't do anything. So it's a really, really good dua to learn, and it's something we should all try to remember. So obviously these shayateen run away. How cool is that, boys and girls? I think once you know this, it's absolutely nuts to ever step out of your house without saying this dua. I made sure I mentioned it straight away, and now when I go out, I feel incredible, and I feel like Allah's shield is all around me, and He's there to protect me.
And then they showed us 2 more du'as, which, if we say them with real belief in Allah's power and trust in our hearts, Allah's protection will be with us. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. And that means, in the name of Allah, with whose name there is protection against every kind of harm in the earth or in the heaven, and He is the all-hearing and all-knowing. If you say this 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the evening, then nothing will harm you. The second one, Allahumma kfinihim bima shi'ata. O Allah, suffice protect me against them however you wish. So, where do we go from here? After I said the du'as, I felt a lot lighter and a lot safer. Mum and Dad also reminded me of a few things which I already told you about in Eliyas Explains Why Does Allah Let Bad Things Happen, which me and Anila did before. So you can watch that video before if you would like to listen to Eliyas Explains Why Does Allah Let Bad Things Happen, which I'm definitely going to read now and remember why evil can happen if Allah is in control of everything, and how we can handle things like a goat if bad things do happen. My tummy growled then, so we moved to the kitchen to have some snacks. I couldn't help but think about the racists that would be terrorizing the streets that evening, and I wondered what we should do about it. I asked my parents if we should go to the streets to pick fights with the bad guys and scare them away, show them who's boss, like in the films.
My mum and dad said that would be a very bad idea. They said that would only make things worse and would make us just as bad as the rioters. They said Islam teaches us to respond with what is better. Don't respond to hatred and violence with more violence. Dad said it takes a lot more strength to respond with wisdom and kindness to someone who is doing wrong to you than it is to just punch them in the face, which made me giggle. Mum told us about how Imam Adam Kelwick at the Abdullah Qayyam Masjid in Liverpool handled the far-right mob that came to attack his masjid. He and the people at the mosque made burgers and chips for everyone standing outside, seething hatred. The police were there and they waited until the mob was as calm as can be before Imam Adam went outside to speak with them and share the food. Now, I don't know about you, Hassan, but I'm a burger and chips right now. He sounds like a lovely Imam, just like Imam Abdullah from the Meet the Maliks twin detectives book, Asiya beamed. I was thinking the same, Mum said. We rummaged around the kitchen looking for snacks while we talked, and I found out that people have a fear of things that they don't understand. They feel unsafe because they just don't get it. They don't know why we do some things the way we do, like why we pray or why we eat halal meat, that kind of thing. The people that do have a problem with Muslims aren't upset because they know what Islam is. They're upset because they have no clue what Islam is. So, reaching out and helping people understand and showing them that we will always behave the way Allah wants us to behave as Muslims is the best thing to do, boys and girls. In every situation, we have to pause and think what the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, would do. And that's what we should do, instead of behaving the way our egos want us to. By the way, I'm writing a book all about the Prophet ﷺ and what he was like. So in December, I can tell you how he behaved.
My brain completely agreed with the whole thing about not getting into fights, because the other day I saw 2 truck drivers get into a fight, and it was ugly. There were more swear words flying around than I'd ever heard before, and none of them were looking like they would back down. I was watching in horror, and from where I was, and I could see what none of them could see in all their hot anger, that if one of them got violent, it would only get worse. Dad was with me, and he said, one of them needs to be the stronger person and back down, even if he's right, or this won't end well. Dad actually got out the car and gently approached one of the drivers and helped him walk away. And that was the end of it. Much better ending than if they had both gone home with a broken nose and wobbly teeth. Oh, and the guy that walked away from the other one, that was still swearing, definitely looked cooler. It will all settle down, and even though we will be more careful when we're out, we won't have to stay indoors every day, Mum assured. So, trampoline park on Friday after Jummah? Asia asked. Sure, Dad nodded, with ice cream afterwards. What's going to happen now? I wondered out loud as I bit into a carrot stick dipped in creamy hummus. I mean, we have to do something to make sure more people don't get turned into zombies by the hate spreaders. Mum and Dad quickly smiled at each other before they both stared at me as if I just won a Nobel Peace Prize. For a second, I thought they were proud I was eating carrots without being bribed with samosas, but then I realised it was because of what I had said.
Eliyas, I am so proud of you, Dad said. You're exactly what this world needs, Mum could. Determination to do good and put things right. I'll do it too, Asia quickly said. It will take work and it will take time, but we have to do it, Dad agreed. He explained that from now on, we would all have to do these things to stop more people getting brainwashed into hating Muslims and other minorities. So we need to do things like hold the newspapers and journalists accountable for their words, because they are the ones who have said and done things to get us to where we are today, and any in future who put out harmful ideas against Muslims and immigrants.
Hold TV and film producers accountable for portraying people of colour in a negative way.
Teach children in schools about racism, Islamophobia, and the way the media controls how we think.
Help to fight ignorance in any way you can. Talk to people. Share books with schools and friends. Invite neighbours for food.
Stand up, boys and girls, to prejudice whenever you see it. If one of your friends says something racist, it could even be a friend that's a person of colour, tell them that you don't like what they've said and why you don't like what they've said.
By coming together and with trust in Allah, we will get through this and grow stronger and closer as an ummah, Dad said. Mum smiled. I already see one good thing that's going to come out of this, is that all the minorities, Black people, Asian people, Muslims, and more, as well as good anti-racism people, are coming together in unity to stand up against this. We all have each other. We all smiled. It was a nice thought. Mum and Dad told me that 1400 years ago, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught people not to judge people or treat them differently because of their skin colour or where they are from. Once, when the Prophet heard a friend call his other friend, Bilal, may Allah be pleased with him, the son of a black woman, he showed that he was seriously unimpressed by this and said to his friend, "You are a man who still has traits of ignorance in him." Ooh, I said when I heard that bit, and I listened carefully to what my parents told us next, so I can tell you all about it too, even though Yusuf was being really distracting by blowing bubbles right next to my face. I'm talking about saliva bubbles this time, which is gross. I don't know how he does it. Ugh. Basically, in his last public speech, which was kind of like a goodbye, so it included all the really important stuff, the Prophet ﷺ wanted to leave people with, he said, all mankind is from Adam and Eve. An Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor does a non-Arab have any superiority over an Arab. A white has no superiority over a black, nor does a black have any superiority over a white, except by piety and good action. Mum and Dad have told us that before, and I like hearing it. I like thinking of all of us humans as one species, treating each other with respect and kindness, and not thinking any of us are better than anyone else just because of our skin color. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's actually cool.
As we put our snack plates in the dishwasher, Mum gave me a hug. You'll see that Allah has planned some good to come out of all this, inshallah. You're determined to make a change, and your dad is eager to continue writing more books with Muslim characters. That's already something. I'm going to write a poem about it too, said Asiya happily, to share with my class when I go back to school. That's wonderful, sweetie. Mum hugged her tight. And Dad marched over like a robot and hugged us all in his strong protective arms, just as the adhan started sounding through our house. It was the call to prayer, so we could reconnect with the master of the universe, Allah, the guardian and protector, and feel his peace. Okay, wait, I'm back with an update. I drew that line above because I thought that was the end, but I had to come back and tell you more. That evening and the next day, we watched the news and Mum and Dad checked their socials, and guess what? The rioters didn't even show up in all the places they threatened they were going to be. But who did show up? Thousands of good people who are with us, who stood outside to say no to racism. How cool is that? And that's not all. Remember, Mum said some good will come out of all of this? I already saw it. Dad showed me a video of Imam Adam Kelwick where he had opened the doors of his mosque to some of the people that had been rioting outside the masjid before, so they could meet real Muslims, ask questions, and enjoy delicious food. Those people were completely changed. One guy came on the video to say he's learnt a lot, and he just looks so happy to be there. Alhamdulillah. That's how things work out when you love Allah and follow his deen.
Also, while I'm here, I had an idea. I think all of us kids should respond with better. We're kids, we're creative, we're motivated, and I think we can help to fight racism and anti-Muslim nonsense. So think of your way of doing it and do it. And that is the end of Eliyas Explains What's Going On in the UK, which I thought was written by author, let me just get it up, written by author Zainab Mia. Okay. And I thought that was just beautifully written and very, very well explained, Anila.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And it answered probably some of the questions that lots of boys and girls have that they don't really understand. I think it was very well put together.
Yeah, and that final bit about always responding with what's better is such a nice way to think about it, is that whatever happens, we can always respond with what's better, with putting trust in God, putting trust in Allah, reading our du'as. We can always try to respond with good actions, and hopefully that will always lead to positive reactions as well, just like Imam Adam Kelwick did in Liverpool.
Definitely, with kindness and love, definitely.
Okay, guys, so just to remind you, we are iAcademy. Me and Anila both are teachers at iAcademy. I've been teaching for 3 years. Anila's been teaching for 1 year. I think iAcademy has been going for about 10 years now. And I think we have about 1,000 students who come to our weekly lessons that are on a Sunday. So if you would like to know more about iAcademy, our information is on the screen. You can call up, you can email to register your interest. We cover all the main topics linked to Islam, Imaan, Ihsan. We cover topics to do with, like we've read today, racism and what's going on in our community, how to respond with better, good actions. So if that is something you are interested in, then please get in touch with iAcademy. And just a shout out to, I was seeing in the comments a lot of people who were saying that they're already part of iAcademy and they come to our lessons. So thank you to everyone who, existing students who have tuned in and new students as well. We hope you really enjoyed it. So Anila, what have we learned?
So Muslims are not always portrayed in the best way, boys and girls, in the media, which we know this already, don't we? We should follow the example of the Prophet ﷺ, and we should always carry ourselves in the best of ways.
Look, we can't control how other people behave, but we can control how we react to those behaviours.
Yeah, and help to fight ignorance as well. Spend time with your friends and neighbours. Educate them on what is the true Islam.
Always be cautious when in public, and this does not mean being scared, but it does mean being aware of what's going on around you. Read your du'as before you go out. Make sure you feel protected, but remember, don't be scared by anything. Okay, you can be cautious, but don't be scared.
Yeah, and you said it, Hassan. Put your trust in Allah above everything else, and like you said, read your du'as. We went through a few today, so try, boys and girls, if you can, to learn them as well, and like Hassan said, believe that you'll be under Allah's protection.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite part of that story, or what I really enjoyed about what happened, is that the people who came out to protest and riot, they were such a small percentage, but the overwhelming protest, the counter protests that we got from all people from all backgrounds to counter that, and anti-racist demos were so huge, and that was really comforting to see and to know that everyone has a place, especially in the country that we live in.
Yeah, and it just shows you there's not many people that, it's a small minority that are not the good ones, shall we say. So, but inshallah, we're all under Allah's protection, definitely.
So remember to learn the dua, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. Allah is sufficient for us and He is the best protector. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. Okay, so try your best to learn as many duas as you can. And just to finish off, these are the details for Islamic Studies for children aged 9 to 17. We run 2 courses, the course for 9 to 17s, and then we also do an IGCSE for older students, Islamic literacy for young minds. To find out more, go to www.iacademy.org.uk. You can call the number that's on the screen. But I just want to say thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope you feel comforted and more confident now as you go outside, and just more confident in your own faith as well. So Anila, are you going for some burger and chips now?
Yeah, definitely. It's put me in the mood. I'm starving now. I need to go and eat. I've not had dinner yet.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, and Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
شعب أن يبر وعشت كم حققت للشعب ليكن يومك للشعب ودادا ليكن ربك للأرض مداد قلم أنت فكم عبرت عنها وبنيت المجد أطوادا شداد أنت يا ملهم شعب أن يبر وعشت كم حققت للشعب مراد أنت يا ملهم شعب أن يبر وعشت كم حققت للشعب مراد